All right, guys, it's been a long 10 months since I decided to go all in on Amazon FBA. And in today's video, I just wanted to share with you guys some of my biggest lessons that I've learned along the journey. I went from making $1,500 my first month to doing $70,000 in December between two of my top products. And then we had issues with suppliers, issues with hijackers on my listing. Now this month, I'm on pace to do about $45,000. So it's definitely been a journey and there's been a lot of lessons. So let's just get into it, guys. Starting with number one, and that is not every single product is gonna be successful. Now, I remember when I first started Amazon FBA, I was watching these guys on YouTube just making millions of dollars in revenue. And I was thinking like, damn, I bet every single product they launch is successful. Like they just know everything to do correctly, right? And now looking back at it, I can tell you guys that that is definitely not the case. As you get more and more experience with Amazon FBA, your success rate definitely goes higher and your chance of failure drops, right? So for example, if I'm launching a product when I was just starting, there's probably a 50-50 chance that it was gonna do good or not. Whereas now there's like a 90% chance it's gonna do well because I know all the steps, I have a proper checklist, I know how to pick good products. So my chance of success is definitely higher, but it's never gonna be 10 out of 10. And the reason I'm saying this is you can't beat yourself up over if you have a bad product, if something doesn't go as planned. Or sometimes you might think a product's gonna do 50K a month and it only ends up doing like 5K a month. And that's just the name of the game. And that's why some of these top Amazon sellers, you see them launching like 10, 20 products. These top guys, they're launching a lot of products because they understand that they've got to launch more products. Some are going to do better than others. Now, when I say this, guys, I'm not saying just launch a bunch of products and make stupid mistakes. And then when the mistakes happen, you say, oh, well, it's just a numbers game. It's definitely not a numbers game. You still need to know what you're doing and avoid the stupid mistakes. But to a certain degree, some products are just going to do better than others and some might not do as well as you expected. But that's just something you have to get over. And always take lessons from everything. So if a product didn't do as well as you thought it would, maybe ask yourself, why did it not do as well as I thought it would? How can I learn from this lesson and carry over to the next product? And with that being said too, guys, I think failure is so important. I think everybody needs to fail, especially at Amazon FBA. And now you guys are probably thinking like, no, whoa, I don't want to fail. But I'm telling you guys right now, and this is an obvious thing that you guys all know, you're going to learn so much more from your failures than you will from your successes. I know when I launched my first product, failing that first product, losing a bunch of money, like I learned so much from that I could carry over to my second product, not make the same dumb mistakes. And then on the second product, it was successful. So not saying everybody's gonna fail on their first time, but a lot of super successful people I've met, they've all failed their first few products. And then they finally got to the point where they're like, now I know what I'm doing. That's just the name of the game, guys, right? Sometimes people might get lucky, they might not fail their first product, but I think at some point there's gonna be failures along the way. Don't get scared when it happens, embrace it, and just know that this is what you need to learn from, right? Moving on to lesson number two, and that is make sure you pick the right supplier. And guys, I cannot stress the importance to you. This is so important, and it'll make your life so much easier if you're just working with the right person. Now, once again, when I first started Amazon FBA, I didn't really think about this. I would just go into Alibaba and I thought that all the suppliers were the same, right? I was like, whoever's gonna give me the lowest price, that's who I'm gonna work with. But I can tell you guys from personal experience, once again, that sometimes if you do pay a little bit of a better price, you can deal with a better factory, you can deal with a better sales associate, and you can save yourself a lot of headache in the long run. So I'm gonna leave this up to you guys. You guys are gonna kind of have to figure out this on your own of like what the price difference is, like how much more can you pay for a better quality sample or how much can you pay for a better quality supplier. But I can tell you for sure that the cheapest is not always the best. And some of the things that I look for to know if a supplier is good is not just quality of the product, but it's really communication with the sales associate that you're speaking with, right? Now, do they know how to speak English? Like, when you're communicating with them, do they understand what you're saying? Because a lot of stuff can get lost in translation. So maybe you're telling them this is what you want, and then long story short, they end up doing something else. And in some cases, the guys can give you a good sample, but then on the mass order, so when you order like 1,000 pieces, there's a ton of defects. And that is just gonna mess your business up, and that's not something that you want. So you do want a supplier with high quality control. And usually it's gonna be the bigger factories, the bigger suppliers that are able to provide higher quality control. Now these guys are usually gonna be more expensive, and they're usually not gonna let you order like 100, 200 pieces. So sometimes you do need to start with the smaller suppliers and then slowly work up to getting a better, bigger supplier. But I don't want to obviously confuse you guys too much, but I think I just want to push on the fact that you really do need a good supplier. And once again, I'm really push on the communication with them. And also, guys, how fast are they getting back to you when you message them, right? If they're taking like 2 days or a full day to get back to you, that's not a good sign, right? I mean, to me, that shows laziness. And on top of that, when they do talk to you, are they coming to you with solutions if there's ever any issues? I've had so many different types of suppliers. There's some where they really talk to you as if it's a partnership, where they're like, hey, look, this is what you want, but I think we should do this because I think this would be better. That's a great supplier that you want to work with. Are there some other ones that are just like, well, what do you want? Like, do you want this? Okay, we'll just do whatever you say. You know, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of those and they're not the best. So once again, this is just something that you have to learn on your own by talking to a lot of different suppliers. But I think just me mentioning it to you guys, you'll be able to look out for this a little bit more. One more thing about the suppliers, guys, is when you're making your order with your suppliers, this is a big lesson that I learned. When they send you an invoice, make sure that you put all the specifications of what you want with your product in the invoice, right? So sometimes you'll get a supplier on Alibaba, they're just gonna send you the payment invoice with nothing on it. They're just gonna say, here's the amount you owe us, send it to us. That's not what you want. That's, once again, that's the supplier being lazy. You gotta ask them, hey, can you please put, if he has pictures of the product, put pictures of the product, put all the specifications that you want of the product in the invoice, because then if there's ever any issues on the mass order and you need to go back to Alibaba and say, look, these guys didn't fulfill what I wanted, it's going to be a lot easier when you have all the stuff written down. For example, let's say you asked for a 15-inch zipper and they did like a 20-inch zipper. That's a big mess up. So it's going to be very easy to say, look, this is what it says on the invoice, rather than having to say, no, he said this, she said this, et cetera, et cetera. So just do yourself a favor, save yourself headache, make sure you ask the supplier to put everything in the invoice of what you want. Moving on to the next lesson that I learned is that you need to focus on what you can control, because in business, so many things are going to go wrong and you're going to be extremely stressed out. And a way to save yourself that stress is just by focusing on what you can control. Now, because there's going to be a lot of things that happen that are out of your control, and it's going to drive you crazy just to be thinking about them all the time. A perfect example of that is me dealing with hijackers on my listing. So for example, essentially these sellers from China jump on my listing, start selling my product, and I'm the kind of guy who's very solution oriented. So I'm kind of always thinking like, there's something I can do. There's something I can do. I'm on the phone with Amazon every day. I'm like, action, action, action. I wasn't too stressed about it because I was like, there's something I can do. But it got to a point where I found out that there's nothing I can do. Like, I'm kind of screwed. Like, these guys can just keep doing this until I get my trademark registered, which is probably going to be like 8 months at least. So that was a little bit of a tough position to be in, because once again, it's like, this is out of my control. So there's no point for me to sit there and be stressed about this now, because me being stressed isn't going to fix the situation. And that's just one example. But I think with a lot of issues in business, if you can just focus on what you can control, and anything you can't control, just, you know, try not to stress about it. It's going to save you a lot of headache in the business. And I can tell you guys right now, there's going to be lots of things, right? This isn't the first thing that's going to go wrong for me. I'm sure in the future, there's just going to be more and more shit that happens. And I think with any sort of entrepreneur, the amount of stress that they can handle is directly correlated with how successful they're going to be. Because the more stress you can handle, the more problems you can handle, and the more you can actually get done, versus if you just get super stressed out about one thing and then you're just crippled by that, and, you know, everything else just falls apart. So it's easier said than done, guys, but try to focus on what you can control. When there's an issue, just ask yourself, can I control this? If I can't control this, well, then focus on the aspect that I can control. So for example, with my Amazon business, I can focus on launching new products. I can focus on putting out more videos. I can focus on trying to build up my other products, or just doing things that don't involve this product, right? But I can't fix the hijackers, because I've tried and it's not happening. So now I just need to focus on everything I can control. Don't let this one thing stress me out. So that's a big, big lesson that I've learned. Hopefully you guys can take that into consideration and apply that to your life as well. Another lesson that I learned is that you need to be constantly improving your products. Most people who are selling on Amazon, if they have any success, for example, they launch a product, it starts doing well, they just kind of sit back and watch it and think like, oh my God, this is great. And just keep watching and watching it, rather than going in and saying, okay, well, how can I improve it? How can I constantly be making it better? And this is something that I think is super important that not a lot of people do, but something that I've learned that helps a lot. Always be trying to fix something. There's a lot you can be doing. Even if the product's doing well, think about, how can I make it better? Maybe I can change the title. Maybe I can do more ads. Maybe I can start targeting different AdWords. Maybe I can try to change up the pictures, you know, get brand registered, add the enhanced brand content, add a video to my listing. There's so many things, guys, that the list just goes on, and you can always test different things as well. You know, maybe I can try to get more reviews, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You shouldn't just be sitting there thinking like, oh great, this product's making 10K a month, I'm chilling. No, like, it's making 10K a month. How can I make it make 15K a month now? How can I get it to 20K a month? Maybe I can launch different colors. Like, just, you need to be constantly thinking of ways to improve your product. For example, one of my products is doing great. It's actually my top selling product. My customers love that product, but I'll be honest, guys, there's issues with the product that I don't like. And I've even given it to other people, like my friends and family, like, no, it's fine. But like in my mind, there's certain things that I know need to be better. But the customers aren't saying anything, but I know deep down inside. So I'm working on getting these things fixed. The current inventory I have in stock right now is a certain way, but pretty soon I'm gonna make a new inventory with a slight change to it, and those are gonna come in. I think the customers are gonna be even happier. So that's just an example of literally constantly improving your product. Don't just sit back and rest on your past successes. And the last lesson I wanna leave you guys with is you need to never give up, because I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be tough. If you're deciding to do a business, whether it's Amazon FBA or any single business, you need to go in there thinking like, I'm gonna make this work. Not like, oh, let me just try this out. Thinking, no, I'm gonna make this work, and no matter what. Right? If you're just gonna start and give up, then you're a quitter. That's essentially what you are, right? And quitters are never gonna achieve anything, right? If you're just gonna quit this, you're gonna quit that, you're never gonna amount to anything, right? You need to make sure if you commit to something that you don't give up. And I can promise you, even if you fail your first product, your second product, your third product, eventually you'll be successful. And then all those failures are worth it. And you're gonna build so much character, you're gonna build so much grit, you're gonna become the man that you wanna be or the woman you wanna be, and be able to take care of your family, take care of your loved ones, do everything that you've wanted to do in your life, all by working your ass off and never giving up and going through all the bullshit and going through all the failures. So there's gonna be a bunch of times where you're probably gonna wanna give up, but I'm just here to tell you guys, do not give up. Just keep working. Just know that all of this is gonna be worth it. All right, guys, so those are some of the lessons I've learned over the past 10 months. And I'm positive that I'm gonna learn a lot more lessons in the future with all the hurdles that come my way. So if you guys would like to follow my Amazon journey, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And one more thing I forgot to tell you guys is that I'm actually going to China in a month from now. So I'm actually going to meet some of my suppliers. I wanna see the factory. I wanna see how the operations are down there and just, shake hands with the guys, try to get some better prices. And there's also a big trade show that's happening. It's called the Canton Fair. If you guys don't know what it is, just Google it. It's one of the biggest trade shows that happen in China every single year. All the suppliers come around the country. It doesn't matter what you're looking for. It's huge. So I definitely recommend anyone who's looking to get into e-commerce, go check this out. It's my first time going, and I've heard great things about it. So I'll be documenting all of that while I'm there. So I got some exciting videos coming for you guys very soon. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.